Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode of the Dream 80. I'm on the farm in the bottom right here today. It's really windy up top, and we're down in the bottom. I'm in a food plot where the access comes in, as well as this valley just continues all the way back up to the north with switchgrass, and it's going to be really good bedding that we prepared down there. The topic for this week's video is property improvements, and I've made some major mistakes in the past with going in and making improvements every single weekend or every single month, or consistently, when the reality is you might be doing more harm than good. I know that I was during that time when I was doing property improvements, and it was every single weekend or every day off that I had, or when I had free time. And in doing so, it was difficult to grow and hold the deer that I was after, or to have a good hunting experience out there on the weekend or whenever the weather permitted where I could go there. When you're doing property projects, it's good to have a plan, over the course of 2, 3, 5, 10 years, whatever it is, and then go in and strategically do things strategic times of the year. Like on this property, we put in a whole new front gate and front entrance. We cleaned up all the tree lines. We added some box blinds. We added some food plots. We drilled some switchgrass. We did some hinge cutting. We're going to be doing some logging. We're going to be putting in a pond. I mean, a bunch of projects where we're, all over the property doing some of these things. The reality is you're in the animal's home when you're doing that. If you're there constantly, they don't want to be. And they're learning about you on the property, how you are affecting, their home, and you're in their bedroom or their kitchen, and it concerns them, your danger. So if you can plan out those projects to where it's like, okay, this back 40 acres, we're going to do all the projects there first, and then we're going to back our way out and work on the front 40 next year or 2 years after this. We're going to go in with the heavy equipment, knock out as many things as we can, instead of saving up, doing a project, saving up, doing a project, and then going back in, chainsaws, all those things. You have a window of opportunity sometime, between March, April, and midsummer, where you can go in and the animals will get used to you. You can do some of those projects, but if you're in there consistently, you're all over the property, you're running the animals all over the place, you can really do more harm than good with your intentions on the property, if your intentions are hunting and fishing and that sort of production based. Well, if your intentions are hiking or four-wheeling or horseback riding, not as big of a deal. But if you're after hunting and top-end hunting management, growing and holding deer and turkeys and high quality animals, which I know a lot of folks from around the country that watch our videos are, you really want to look at those projects that you have, plan them out, decide when you can do the things with equipment, and can you benefit from that equipment being there also. If you're going to put in a gate, can you, use the skid steer, the tractor, the bulldozer for the road, for the pond, for the access roads around the property, for the future logging projects, so you don't have to pay the trucking fee, you don't have to pay the setup and all that of that machine showing up if it's not you doing the work. Another thing that you want to do is plan out, the food plots and that sort of thing you're going to do on the property, again, with as little intrusion as possible. What crops and plan can I plant things for? Planting them when I want to in the spring with maybe some of your grains, and if it fails, how can I go in and do the next thing or the next thing where I'm failing into making the food that I'm planting on the property actually come to fruition, again, and not need to go in there, rework the ground, respray it, restart over where there's 3 or 4 trips just to get that crop planted. What can you do initially with the fertilizer, knowing that the corn might fail, with the chemical, knowing that the rye or the turnips or whatever might get too weedy? So what things can you do to help out your success in the future, and while you're doing that, be as little intrusion to the property as possible for coming back in and doing all these little projects everywhere. You want to try to avoid the little projects, go in, knock it out. If you want to go back to the property, establish an area where you do those things on the property, or start at a certain spot, get them done, move out. Go to the next spot, get them done, move out. Go to the last spot, get them done, move out, and then have that property be complete. If you want to do things with your family, your kids, your buddies on those properties, just be strategic about it. We try not to shed hunt until all the antlers have fallen off and we're able to see that. Not run the deer around to neighboring properties. When we're hunting, we go about it the same way. We don't go in unless it's absolutely perfect conditions and we can execute on that. How do we minimize human intrusion as much as humanly possible. And when we do that, a lot of folks, say us included, hey, we want to use this property. That's fine. Use part of it that's not a sanctuary, or use part of it where you're so consistent every single time you're there that we take this trail, we're in a tractor or a buggy, and we make noise. The deer and turkeys, all that, are used to us. They will get used to you going to your spot and staying out of their spot. They want to have that be their home, just like we want our homes to be exclusive and private and all that just the same. So if you can separate in your mind and on a map where those animals are going to run or fly, where their refuge and their sanctuary is, get the projects done, and then use your property for recreational purposes in a specific area, refuge the rest until it's time to go in and execute on finding the sheds or chasing the big deer or going in and being successful on a turkey hunt or something along those lines. That's just an easier way to go about it that we've learned is a better way to do property improvements, a better way to use a hunting or recreational farm. So every time you come there, the experience is like it hasn't been hunted in a decade. That's what we got for you for this week's episode. Give us a thumbs up and a follow and a comment if you are enjoying what we're putting out, and we'll keep them coming.